Hey, good evening, friends. Happy Monday. Hope everyone's had a good trading day. Just wanted to go over a couple of trades that I took today. It's honestly a very messy price action day. I started recording a lot of what I do, so I can do some live streams in the future. So if we can speed this up a little bit, I think we can just see the actual trade being taken. So speed this up. Let's see. Okay. So we broke this key level. I ended up going short right here. Personal and prop. And let's see how it goes. Well, you know, you get the idea. I'm putting these on evaluation accounts as well. As well as personal, so I'm actually running 3 different terminals at the same time, so it's a bit yeah, it's quite something. So it's interesting. I'm getting used to it, but we'll get into the day's analysis right on the charts. So we'll just start with morning analysis. So always check here. I post a lot of images. I try and pay attention to them. I draw a lot of like lines and like possible apexes that we could have, and these aren't supposed to be exact levels. They're just like ideas of the kind of things that we could do. For example, this was at 6 a.m. You know, we could break down below Asia low, and if we're going to do that, maybe below Friday low, or we could go down to last Friday's London low. So this is just to give ideas of where the liquidity is, where we could target if there's a sweep. And you're not supposed to take this at the exact level. You're supposed to look for confirmation, given this general framework. I was looking at Dixie, so it's in an hourly compression. So someone asked me today how I develop my daily bias, and different people have different ways of doing it. I mean, there's the ICT way, where he says basically you follow the direction of the previous day's candle and try and target the liquidity it's going for, i.e. like a swing high or daily swing high or low or whatever it is. Since we're purely intraday, I tend to do it in a much more nuanced way, and I use Dixie a lot to do this. And I was going to do a whole section on this, but because it's different every day, I think it's better if I just do a compendium of videos just to show how different it can be each time. So we're in an hourly compression, we can see here, and typically compressions have a final like smash up for liquidity, and we've got a supply zone up here. So it seemed logical to me that we would come a little higher. I think this is Fibonacci 62 kind of level of the last swing, so I thought we're gonna get a drive up. So I'm looking for a short primarily on GU, and if we get the sweep, maybe a long before we get there. So yeah, I'm just saying I'm looking for a buy below Asia typically here, and I always say the news. It was a US bank holiday and it was a Monday, so yeah, it was going to be thin liquidity and probably a day to avoid, to be honest. And maybe I wish I avoided it slightly, although I did end up slightly in profit. Some of my prop accounts are down, so anyway, we'll just go through the day. Where are we? 604. Okay, we've got our daily open marked up. All of our key levels we did on the webinar the night before, which I'll upload very soon. And we do get this sweep down below Asia low. Okay, so I think I ended up not taking this because I thought we might take Friday's low. So I hesitated on this one. didn't end up taking it, and I couldn't find a good entry. Perhaps, you know, obviously in hindsight, you know, I could have drawn this little demand zone. You know, seems pretty obvious, of course. But that's hindsight, so that's useless. If it's not money in the bank, then we don't care. What I mean, if we zoom out a bit, our kind of general plan. Our general plan was to kind of target this area, this H1 supply. I'm sorry, this is so messy. We thought maybe we'd get like a drive up here and short here, which didn't happen. We ended up just compressing all the way down. So we'll get back into the charts. All these are for a purpose, so we'll just kind of drag them up. Hopefully we can find them later. All right. Okay, today. Okay, missed the Asia low sweep because we were waiting for possibly a drive below this previous day's low, so ended up missing that. It was takeable, but there was another trade here. We had a break of Frankfurt high, so key level, and there was an accumulation. Probably easier to see on the 1 minute chart. You see this like kind of distribution. Okay, and there was like an M1 M5 supply zone. I ended up not liking this because it was on a trend line on a higher time frame, and typically you get a lot of manipulation around trend lines. It can be wild. You can get like fake breakouts and stuff, so I decided to filter this one out. The other reason was we had not broken Asia high. Typically that's a liquidity target, so ended up filtering this trade out. Unfortunately it did end up producing 75 pips, so I noticed what was going on halfway, and we started getting what I call confirmation 1, which is multiple bearish imbalances. So if we just zoom in a little bit. So we're halfway down the move. Well, not halfway down the move, but the move has started already. And I'm starting to realize what's going on is what we are actually going short. And I notice multiple bearish imbalances. Okay, you know, 00, 16-0, 2-0, 11-0. So I'm like, okay, I'm getting in 52-0 as well. And from memory, I'm not exactly sure. I can go to the terminal and check, but I think I entered on this 52. And if we go, I have a chart that shows it somewhere. Okay, multiple imbalances, and I think this was the 52, and we had very low volume when it retested, so I just joined with the momentum, but I only took 16 pips or something like that, so it's a kind of nothing trade. It was just a little I'd call that a scalp. 16 pips, really not worth it. Yeah, I could have written it down lower, but it is what it is. Let's get rid of this green circle because it's not really serving any purpose. So what next? I think you know, I ended up taking a couple of losers, and this took me to break even. Just try to like get in on these daily open sweeps, and then, you know, get stopped out, or, you know, stopped out for a couple of pips and making them back. And because it was a New York holiday, not much was happening, but I did notice quite a good one, and it was here. So that's the one I showed live on this. Actually, this trade's actually not this. This is completed. I just happened to get into another trade at exactly the same spot. So what do we have? Break of a key level. That's a 15-minute swing high. And into a trading level, which is a resistance, which is perfectly fine. Trend line, this time I decide, you know, okay, we're manipulating it a little bit. It's going above. I'm just going to go with it. So I'd look at the footprint. This is going to take ages to find again. Okay. So if we just expand this. This is what I would call an aggressive entry. Very aggressive entry, in fact. So if you have conviction about your trades, everything lines up, and you're looking for an aggressive confirmation. Say, you know, say your heart is set on this trade, everything lines up. You can use this as a confirmation. So this is 0.16, which represents structure. And then you have a break of the structure, and you can either enter immediately after that candle, or wait for some kind of retest. I think I waited for a bit of a retest of one of these. It was like the 12.0 or something. So that was a very aggressive entry, and you might think, wow, you know, that's, you know, quite something to, you know, take a rocket and then short it. There are other reasons for this, which I'll get into now. I did write this the whole way. What I said was 1022. Yeah, exactly. So you can go back in the chat. Apologies, there must be a neater way of organizing this, but I'm just doing this on the fly. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Okay. So there you go. If you don't believe me, I set my TP at 1022. So why did I do that? A lot of people think my charts are messy, and that is true. I clean them up at the end of the day, but they end up with a lot of annotations because I'm in a group and I'm explaining things to people. So why do I take this trade straight away? Well, first of all, it met all my rules. So it had the setup one break of swing high into a resistance. So perfect. I'm just looking for confirmation. I get it. But on its own, that would be very aggressive. But what I was looking at was this, what I thought was a reaccumulation on Dixie. Because we're still compressing up, I didn't think we'd had enough of a push up into the supply, which is what I'm really looking for. So I interpreted this as a spring, i.e. a run on liquidity, a liquidity grab, a filling of this imbalance. So seeing that in combination with everything else gave me the confidence to just enter cleanly. So I rode that trade all the way. That was a great, let's see, 15 hour. Managed to pull it out. Unfortunately, because of this spike up, I ended up taking a lot of the positions out, okay, because I scaled in with the copy account, so only one position remained, which I closed for like $100 down here. But I had multiple positions in. Unfortunately, they were scaled and they were just tagged, which was annoying as hell. I also had prop positions in, which got tagged out as well because I scaled them in, so they were heavily. I was heavily in profit and prop, like 10 grand or whatever, and then it takes me out break even. But luckily my personal trade stayed in because I had it in right at the top. And now we come to this trade, which I took very late in the day. And I'm in two minds whether to close this now or wait. So kind of messy. What we have is an M5 supply. Okay, now I'm expecting a trade here. First, we hit my target there and we broke the 30th of September Friday low. Okay, I wasn't around to get the long. I was having dinner, so really unfortunate. It did a full run up. That would have been a lovely trade. Very easy to take, 50 pips. These trades happen every day, so I'm not too bothered. And then we have this kind of Wyckoff like accumulation or distribution in this case. So I see the M5 supply, I see the drive up, and I'm getting involved on the 0.10 on the footprint. Okay, it keeps retesting it, so it's failing to close above, so I enter. I get a little bit of drawdown. I'm a bit scared that the position's gonna shut down on me, but again I'm looking at Dixie and I'm interpreting this as the sign of strength and the backup, which I thought would fill this imbalance, and touch this demand and then go. So it was within the zone, the kind of buying zone. So I thought it was okay. It was good to go, and I'm still in that trade. Only on the conservative copy account for family and friends. So where is this gonna go? Well, because I'm interpreting this as reaccumulation with a backup after a sign of strength, I'm thinking we're gonna do our last drive up and finish off this compression on H1. You can see very clear compression, but it's kind of just meandering along doing this accumulation. I think it's gonna do like a kind of up thrust after distribution or some kind of move up. That's just my instinct telling me this just from watching price action. So we predicted this in the morning analysis as well, this move up, but for reasons we've stated before, we didn't take that short, really annoyingly. But rules are rules, and if you have a rule not to do something, it's probably for a reason, something you've built up over time. So let's see. I'm gonna set an average stop loss probably for this, and hopefully we get this drive up. The only issue is typically in the morning we get a clear out, right? Some kind of stop run. So we'll see. I'm just I think I'm gonna let it run and average the stop loss somewhere. It's gonna be around here, so we'll see. I hope. I mean, it's on this support right now, and I think it's just gonna range around here all day, or all evening rather. So that's it. One good trade that knocked me out of some prop positions and copy positions, and now this guy. So not the best day, to be honest. Lots of swings. There were opportunities to get involved, but it was messy as hell. All this up and down is gonna, especially if you're screen watching, you're gonna be tempted to get involved at bad places. But if you're trading at the extremes, i.e. up here, or down here would have been a perfect trade. And again, we're in this range, I guess. Yeah, we're in this kind of range situation, and my expectation is, and I'll state this now, I may be wrong, I expect us to go down to 1096. Why? Well, we're compressing for a start, and market makers usually like to really do a massive push down before any longs can get involved. And we have this daily fair value gap that needs to be filled. We're right above it here, so it's just tagged it, but I think it's going to be filled tomorrow, especially if you look at the bond market. Again, gilts are being sold off like nothing else. This was the Bank of England intervention. They're still going to be intervening, but the market's not liking it. We're still not sold on Quasi's fiscal plan, so we'll see what happens tomorrow. I think this video's been long enough, so I'll wrap it up. Hopefully we get our short here, and we'll just see what happens. Any questions, let me know. My name is The Cable Traders on Instagram. My name's Jeff T on Discord. The group's called Cable Traders. And yeah, you can contact me by email as well. Just please like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz, and I will see you tomorrow. Cheers.